Hi everybody! So I'm making this video on the topic of what happens to my soul after I die. And it feels so appropriate to make this video because I've posted 2 channeled messages, one with Prince, one with Whitney Houston. And obviously we're working with souls here that at the end of their life, they're working through their own personal challenges. And their own personal challenges lead into what is a transition that is on the lower level of what joy is all about. And so the question is, what happens to your soul after you die? So if you die in trauma, do you still go to heaven and receive all that light and all that love? And if you die in love, do you still go to heaven and receive all that light and all that love? And let's say that you die by committing suicide. Do you still go to heaven to receive all that light, all that love, all that nourishment? Now, what if you are a kid? Let's say your lifespan is you're a kid in an abusive family. You're severely raped and beaten for years and years of your life. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. You go on to live a life of extremes where you're now inspired to become a serial rapist and then murderer. And now you can't even live with your choices, so you kill yourself. Now, does that soul go to heaven to receive love and nourishment? The question is, how are you judging yourself at the time of death? Because heaven isn't judging you. We judge ourselves. We judge each other. We feel judged by the world. We make choices based on judgment. And sometimes we get broken by life. Life breaks us. We make choices that are choices based on brokenness. We all just want to live in a happy world, right? So here I am, a human being talking about life after death. I don't have any life after death, real life experiences, but as a spiritual healer, I go into the wounded sides of souls, the most vulnerable sides of souls, in order to heal them. But some souls aren't ready for that healing yet, and some souls are. But the amazing thing is that souls are already in heaven. We're already our higher selves. And our higher selves are so expanded, unbelievably expanded. And one single human lifetime is literally like, bam, done. We experience a very long, intensive, challenging, emotional roller coaster. And we don't want to believe there's more of these lifetimes ahead of us, or that there were more of them behind us. We want to be done with them already. So what is beneath the surface of that? I don't want to live here anymore. I don't like being here. I don't want to be an emotional human being. I want to believe that everything is done when I die, and I don't ever have to come back to this place. You see, I haven't even told you what happens to you after you die. I'm just simply sharing perspective here on the death experience from different angles of what the death experience can be like. I will say I have different personal experiences, which would be visions of what is a death and then what my soul did at that moment in time. One of them was, this was a really loud, really difficult one for me to process, but I was having basically a normal day, and then out of nowhere, I was basically murdered for no explainable reason. It didn't make any sense. I like literally hands around my neck. I'm being choked and I'm dying right now. And I can't understand what is happening. And I'm actually knowing that I am about to die right now. And it's like freaking me out. And my soul moves on from the lifetime. And I actually just leave my body. And I'm still like, what the hell just happened here? And I'm so angry and I'm so mad. And I want to get this person who had done this to me. I can't leave. I actually can't leave my body behind. I can't leave this scene. I can't leave this experience. So what version of me is going to heaven and what version of me is staying in order to process the events? We have to process the events. That's actually okay. That's actually normal. But is that okay with you? It took me time. It took me several weeks to be able to fathom this because it was so real and so traumatizing, and I was so mad still, even as Abbey. I have nothing to do with that lifetime anymore, but part of my soul is still carrying that anger. It's still carrying that. I don't even have any clue that this was going on as myself. But yet a part of my soul in the past, which is also in the present, which is also in the future, is still carrying this stuff with me. What is all inside my Pandora's box? I had another lifetime where I was so in love, so in love, but I had fallen ill and I was laying down in bed for days and days and days, and I knew that I was going to die now. And in that moment of death, I held this lover's hand, and I looked into their eyes. I'm still emotional from it because it was so, I didn't want to leave them. And I knew that I had to, and I knew that it was going to be very hard for them after I left. And so when I moved on from the life, I never fully moved on because I hadn't been able to accept it myself at the moment of death. Because I loved this person so much. I loved this soul so much. You see how we hold on to things as human beings? I'm going to tell you something else now. So who do you think right now is speaking to you? You think I'm a human being speaking to you? Do you think I'm Abbey speaking to you? What if I told you I'm my higher self right now speaking to you? But as my higher self, I'm still going through the interworkings of my human mind, my human body, my human experience. But it's all an illusion. I'm still my higher self. I'm still in the balance and the harmony of all there is, was, and ever will be. And my higher self is also so many different versions of itself, so many different versions of mastery or mastery in the making. And what does infinite time look like exactly? Because infinite time is past, present, and future happening simultaneously. And so what version of time are we actually experiencing right now? So when I die, I already have died. And I already am my higher self. And my higher self is actually me speaking to you right now. And how many different times have I experienced this lifetime? Do you know? Have you ever thought about your soul actually re-experiencing the lifetime? Coming back in and reliving it on a different perspective many, many times. What if I did it 1 trillion times? What would you think about your soul reliving your lifetime 1 trillion times? How does that make you feel? And your soul could do that for any of these lifetimes. I've seen extraordinary things in the spirit realm. What is a soul stepping into an incarnation cycle, which looks like a spiral? It doesn't look like a straight line. When I see a timeline, it looks like a spiral, like a tornado. And it goes round and round and round and round and round and round and round really fast. So whatever you experience here on the timeline, you'll also experience all throughout this spiral. So whatever is our past experiences, we're still going to be reworking with that energy that is just a broken record going round and round and round, and we're going to work on it in the future. But we're all working on it. Here is past, present, and future. And then we bring that coil together and it just creates a circle or a sphere, you know? How many sides are there to a sphere? It's either a sphere or there's infinite sides to a sphere. So we're talking about what happens to a soul after it dies. Well, I've already died. So how is that possible? But I've seen souls step into a timeline, a spiral, and what could be, let's just say 10,000 lifetimes, because we can process 10,000 lifetimes. Can you process 1,000,000 lifetimes? Can you process 1 trillion lifetimes? Can you process a bajillion lifetimes? Can you even fathom that? The soul can. That just goes to show that us as human beings can't even fathom the spirit realm. So why are we trying to fathom it on a human level? It's just not possible. And not to feel vulnerable about that, but to step into a timeline of 10,000 lifetimes and bam, still walks in, and it's all 10,000 lifetimes are experienced in a split second in the spirit world. So that soul's already lived and died and went through all of that in a single second. How is that possible? How is that possible? Now you take that spiral, you could take it as a circle and then you can stretch it out. And the soul can go into these timelines, and then it actually can go and relive them as many times as they want on different levels of vibration of what the soul has comprehended at this time. Or it can go beyond this and go to totally new experiences, whatever the soul wants. I will tell you that when I die after this lifetime, I already am living in the next lifetime, and I'm so happy and at peace with that. I'm already living in the future. I want to talk to you about a time machine, okay? The idea of the time machine. So let's say the time machine. Let's say you lived a lifetime, and we're talking like 1700, and you live on a farm, and you have the most normal farm life, and you have a wife and kids, and they live on the farm, and it just passes down from generation to generation to generation. So you live this lifetime on the farm. It's really cushy and cozy, and it's just a farm life, and it's a good life. So you get to the end of the lifetime, and you transition. So now let's say, 3, 4, 500 years down the road, whatever, on Earth, we invent a time machine. So we have an original timeline of what happened, right? Now the time machine goes back to the 1700 to this farm and brings weapons of mass destruction and starts enslaving the human race. Well, where'd these souls go? Because they just lived and died. They've already lived a lifetime. So how do we pull the souls all back into the lifetime to experience this new timeline? So in a way, we never actually leave the lifetime. Does that freak you out? I'll tell you another story. I was going to tell you too about the future, because the time machine could go back in time and also forward in time. So the reality that the time machine can go forward in time, but these souls, these bodies haven't even been born yet for the souls to even live in these bodies. So how could a time machine possibly go forward in time and actually experience real people with real souls and real life experiences? That's because there's no such thing as time. Time is definitely not a linear thing. We experience as a linear thing because that's our gift as human beings. That's our understanding, and it's totally okay. So I want to tell you about a very peculiar experience that I had. And it's all about, so it's all about, I don't know why I'm having a hard time telling you right now. I feel like slowing down a little bit. So I am. I'm just going to slow down for a little bit. My spirit guides are asking me, Abby, is this the right way to talk to people about life after death? Give me a moment here. I explore my heart. I tell my spirit guides I'm not quite certain how to talk to people about life after death, because I've seen so many extraordinary things, unbelievable things, and I have no choice but to come to acceptance of it. Abby personally, I have no real life experience of life after death. I have psychic, spiritual experience of life after death. A part of my heart desperately wants to tell you that there is only love after death. But you have to decide that for yourself. Abby right now will tell you the only thing that is real is love in this world that we live in. And anything else is an illusion. So what do you make of that? How many human beings would tell me, Abby, have you lost your mind? This world is so messed up. It's so chaotic. There's greed. There's, people don't care about the planet. People don't, blah, 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 blah. The news, animals are dying in fucked up ways. Like people just go on and on about the terror of the world. And it's like, I'm telling you, the only thing that is real is love. You need to let go of your fear. You need to let go of your hurts and your angers and your frustrations. It's those emanating emotions that get us stuck in the spiral of learning. And we got to keep working on it and 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 working on it. I want to tell you that you'll never have to work on that ever again. There's experiences that I've had where you get to go through life and you get to be tortured. And now you die after being tortured. What do you think that feels like? Your soul can't even comprehend it. It's so terrible. You're free of the body. You don't have to carry the pain anymore. But how is your soul supposed to comprehend that? Now it chooses to enter into lifetimes where it's trying to process it. It's going to go through lifetimes having severe anxiety, paranoia. It's going to go through lifetimes where it's trying to recreate the event so that it could try to process it again. It's going to go through lifetimes of different types of experiences, all related back to being tortured, because the soul simply can't process it yet. The higher self is totally at peace with all this. The higher self is totally at peace. How is that possible? How is that possible? I did a channeling with Nostradamus in April, and I still haven't shared it yet. But I was taken into a lifetime where I actually died from the Black Plague, which I wasn't aware of. And I actually endured dying in the Black Plague in that channeling, so I bawling my eyes out, and it was very traumatizing. But it healed me at the same time. And I learned a great lesson about love. And I saw my own timeline, how that Black Plague event is still affecting me even today, and I wasn't even aware of it. And how it is affecting me is I'm still trying to process what had happened. So in a way, I'm still trying to recreate that pain and suffering in my own life. And I haven't realized that I've died and moved on from that on some level, okay? And so here I am after now having this experience and being able to release from it fully, because my soul did fragment from that trauma. It did. And the fragment is the part of the soul that is left behind to create that learning beacon, okay? So my higher self and guides are like, oh, so souls leave parts of themselves behind. And what does that mean exactly? So if a soul dies in trauma, then not the whole soul just goes to heaven, just a part of it is left behind? Well, that's not very fair, that we would just leave behind the most traumatized parts of the soul in order to figure it out for themselves. Or maybe that's the only true way to learn. The angels came down and shined their light upon all of us, and we would never have to work another day in our life, and we could just live a cozy life and everything's happy. What are we learning from that? We learn far more when we enter challenged than when we enter into the freedom to just love and be love. Because that's who we truly are. And we don't have to conquer now the illusion of fear, the illusion of death. The other thing I was going to tell you is about deja vu, and how I've had moments in my life where I felt I've lived this lifetime before. Deja vu, not to say that I'm in the right place at the right time, but to say I'm in the exact same place that I was the last time I lived this life. And I had a version of my future self actually come to me in a vision and share a healing with me. I didn't even know it was me at first. The only reason I knew it was me was when she stayed. After she healed me, she was a very old woman. And she looked like a witch that lives in the woods for a long time, removed. She had a mustache that she didn't care to wax off. But boy, was she ever a powerful healer. She was more powerful than any interdimensional being I'd ever met, who I thought were the most powerful healers, the most powerful emanations of love. She was the most powerful emanation of love I had ever experienced. And I couldn't stand her. I thought she was, I told her, I can outsmart you. You think you got it all figured out. And I was challenging her. And she was just patiently waiting for me. She showed me her reflection in the mirror. As I went into the vision and I saw my reflection in the mirror, and then it changed into her reflection. And then in the vision, it transitioned into me seeing a puddle, and I look at my reflection in the puddle, and then it changed into her reflection. But I still couldn't understand what she was trying to tell me. And I was so angry inside at that time. This was several years ago. And I had to choose to say I choose love over anger. I don't even know why I'm angry right now, but I am. So I'm going to let go of my anger, and I'm just going to allow myself to receive a gift of love from you. And boy, did I ever. I didn't even know what to make of that. And after that event happened, even several hours later, her loving heart was still emanating love in my place I was living. And it was her attention to my kids' belongings, their toys, their coloring books. And it was almost like she was emotional about it. Like this was the most beautiful gift that God could have given to her. To be able to see the place that she had lived at one time, and her kids as young little people with these toys and things. It still makes me emotional because it touched my heart so much. And I realized that me from the future had come back to me in the past to share this gift with me, but how is that possible? That means in some way that I'm always going to be in this lifetime. And how would I ever tell people that without them being absolutely terrified by that idea? So am I a really good role model to talk about what happens after you die? I'm going to freak the living daylights out of people. So how do I tolerate it? With the simple fact that everything is an illusion and the only thing that is real is love. And the person that is sitting here right now is my higher self, and my higher self is already in heaven. And I am at peace with everything. I am at peace with everything. And anything that feels vulnerable against that statement, I welcome it to come to the surface so I can see it with love and allow it to be released into the light. And this is the version of Whitney Houston on her own timeline and Prince on his own timeline, who comes to a place of peace and love and acceptance of their own soul journey and welcomes their own vulnerabilities and soul fragment pieces to come up to the surface so they too can say, I love you, and let those parts of themselves go into the light. You have to remember that time is overwhelming as a human being, but it is not overwhelming as a soul. And on some version of a timeline, Whitney Houston and Prince are already beyond that pain and suffering. They already were beyond it, even before the life. Again, timelines are interesting because I have experienced souls going into the lifetime and being just so resistant. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, so resistant as they're actually like a catapulting into the body. That's not good either. But that is part of the learning. So what version of a timeline does that take place in? The soul walks into a spiral of 10,000 lifetimes that are done and over with in a split second. But yet here we are living the life as though this is all we know. We're human beings, okay? We're meant to only know so much. We're meant to only comprehend so much. I'm also a spiritual healer. It is my talent, it is my purpose, it is my role to help souls in suffering. It's my role to. But the soul also has to choose to receive help as well. If the soul doesn't choose to receive help, I can't help them. Did Prince choose to receive help in his life? Did Whitney Houston choose to receive help in her life? Help that was on a level that was truly nurturing for them to receive it? Or did they receive manipulation in a way that brought them to their ultimate destruction? And so again, we're looking at what is the soul choosing? And I always like to come back to, what about that kid that gets raped and abused their whole life with parents that are alcoholics, and then turns out to be a rapist later on and can't deal with their own issues, becomes a serial rapist and murderer, and now kills themselves? What do we make of those souls? What about the souls that go through a timeline to actually be broken and twisted in order to teach us how to become strong in love, or to fear them? And if we fear them, now they become powerful and controlling. And all we had to do is say no. Even if we lost our life saying no, we're still standing up for something that we believe in. But you see, this is the human race. This is our This is our world that we live in. And we're teaching each other about love. And it's hard love here. It's very hard love here. So you deserve to give yourself a hug and say you're awesome today. Right? Because the only thing that is real is love. I'm at a point now in my journey where I can love souls that have been so broken and so twisted, that have done absolutely horrible things, but found a way back into the light and then had to rebalance out with all that terror. And that too is hard. And it's unbelievable. And that's what creates the archangels. That's what creates the most diverse, extraordinary masters of the universe. The souls that choose to be the dark and the light sides of themselves, that choose to be ripped apart and then brought back together again. And what timelines is this all happening in? That I give reverence to those souls. I'm at peace with it. It's taken me years to get to this point. And I started a long time ago. When I was 12, I was starting to think about the reality of hell, if hell was real. And when I was 19, I realized that there is no such thing as hell. It was all an illusion to inspire people to believe in a certain programming. And I started to relate to past lives, and that life was just a continuation of learning. And that's what the journey is a continuation of learning. And I wondered, well, if there's just a continuation of learning, do I ever get set free to have peaceful lives? And the answer is yes. In fact, my soul is living other lifetimes right now in extremely high states of awareness. And I actually have talked to one of these versions of me, which you would define as an alien being. But she has sent love and healing to me as I'm sort of like the tumor of these four that I'm aware of. We're like there's four of us that I'm aware of. But she sent love to me because this version of herself has been in so much suffering, and she's been trying to get through to me. She's also a healer where she is at. I can't understand her very well, but some little beacons of information have come to me. But she's an extraordinary healer where she is at, but she's also in a place where she can emanate healing. So she's just a beacon of healing, and that is her role. And that it's like she heals even like planets and masses of people on other planets. Like she could do this. Whereas I am I'm a healer here on earth, and I'm trying to conquer society and judgment and an abusive world that is afraid of itself, and a world that is latching onto money as the only thing of value, that money makes us happy, not each other. And we can't even make ourselves happy. I live in this world. And so she brings healing into me to help me conquer these vulnerabilities if I allow myself to receive it. And so that way I can become strong, and I welcome her wisdom of healing to enter into me so I can become that much better of a healer. And so she is actually incarnate. I am also incarnate. There's two others that I know are incarnated. I can't understand them right now. So that's all I know right now, but that's just four. And I'm not a fan of looking at little numbers when it comes to an infinite universe. I'm a fan of experiencing what is a diverse reality of an unfathomable reality. And so which timeline is this version of myself in? Is she in the future? How long has she been alive for? 1,000,000 years in that lifetime? You see how we can't even try to comprehend what is going on here as human beings. So, this is the truth as best as I can tell you about what happens after you die. Do you know what the answer to the question is yet? Do you know what happens after you die? Remember, the only thing that is real is love. And whatever you can't let go of in this lifetime, you're going to continue to learn more and more and more about that until love helps to lift that burden from your shoulders, the way it has lifted it from mine, the way that I'm still lifting up, and I will be for years and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes to come. And I'm at peace with that. You got to find a way to become at peace with that too. So that's all I'm going to say for this video. I don't know if it's going to nurture anybody to listen to this. This is actually my third attempt to make this video, and I'm just really, I guess I'm concerned about, I don't want to terrify people, but I have to be myself. And being myself is to tell you the honest experience that I have gone through as a psychic, as a spiritual healer, as a studier of the infinite universe since I was young, as a psychic who's been talking to the invisible world since I was a kid. And now here I am transforming souls and bringing soul fragments back into people and helping people to feel resurrected and ascended beyond any level of love that they've been able to attain in this lifetime. And we're just working with love all the time. And love then teaches me, and this is the message that love shares through me to you. So, okay. Thank you for watching. You've made it 30 minutes into this video. You've actually sat there and listened to this video for 30 minutes. So I congratulate you. It's going to give you a lot to think about. I hope it doesn't rack your brain. It's funny because I've been working with these crystal skulls a lot right now. I don't even know why, but I got this baby one, and that's not even a baby one, but it kind of is. But in comparison to this guy, you see, look at that. They're so awesome. I love them so much. I don't know why, but I've been working with these crystal skulls a lot. And I think it's because it's like, it reminds me of being human, and I'm okay with being human. But it also, they sort of have these openings at the top of their head, which is like a connection to the higher wisdom and expansion beyond the human, But I'm okay to be myself, and I'm okay to live in this life, and I'm okay with the way the world is, and a lot of people would not be able to say that. I've been working on this a long time now, and I've had my own difficulty in processing it as well. But I don't anymore. Maybe I'm desensitized, maybe I don't know, but I'm at peace with it, I guess you could say. I'm at peace with it. Anyway, I'm just gonna say that, and I thank you guys for watching. If any of you are interested in connecting with me for a one-on-one session, I would love to do energy work for you, share wisdom for you. I do have another YouTube channel, Abbey Psychic Services, where I share samples, actual sessions that I've done for people. So you can always check out that channel and get a feel for what it's like to get a session with me. It's really fun, and you'll learn a lot, and it's always teaching you about yourself. And so I'll just tell you that. So if you want a one-on-one session, I'm like in a weird mental way. I need my skulls to help my brain functions. All right. I don't know if I said my website, but it's AbbeyNormalsWisdomQuest.com. So thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.